Hello, everybody. Today is Introduction to Palm Reading. It's a masterclass for Red Tent Goddess Academy. My name is Marlu. I know all of you who are present, but for those who will watch the replay, I guess I'll tell you a little bit about me. I am the instructor of the Enchantress Program at Red Tent Goddess Academy, which is a program that the mission of it is to, when the ladies graduate, they have self-confidence and their intuition is soaring, and their lifestyle has included a spiritual lifestyle of their own. So they've created a way of living that incorporates the spirituality that they find comfortable, and their confidence has increased. So that is the object of being an enchantress. And it's a 13-month program. And we begin with a lot of personal development, a lot of motivation. There's meditation, breath work, affirmations, but there's also spirituality included. There's Ayurveda, there's nutrition, we talk about dreams and how we can move dreams in the spiritual sense. We talk about communicating with angels. We talk, and then in the last 6 months, we talk a lot more about introductions of divination, like tarot, oracle card reading, palmistry. We talk about runes. We talk about past life regressions, Akashic readings. We teach you how to do your own Akashic readings. Lisette does that class for me. She teaches you how to open your own Akashic records. We're just about ready to finish. We're going to be finishing in April, and we still have the inner child class, the shadow work class. So a lot of really good stuff still coming on. So anyway, I didn't want to say so much. Just wanted you to know that I do the Enchantress Program, and I am a past life regressionist, palm reader since I was 11 years old, and I only started teaching it last year. Like, it's been my passion for many, many years, but teaching it certified last year. And I graduated 11 ladies. And what else? I'm the director of Life Health Soul Coaching Schools, and I teach women how to coach professionally, life, health, and spiritually. And I'm going to be a priestess because Lisette's program. So in a couple of months, I can be called a priestess. So I'm excited about that. And I'm a mom and a grandma. Yeah, my granddaughter is 17. So with that said, I'm going to start sharing my screen. And we're going to go forward. Okay, so the first slide is the outline, so you get an idea of what we're going to do today. It is by no means a full class, but it's definitely going to let you be able to read your palm and your neighbor's palm, your friend's palm, and know a couple of things about that person that are really interesting. So I'm going to talk to you about what is palmistry and how to do it, like which hand are you going to use on the person and what each finger represents and how you can read that. And then the three primary lines of palmistry are the love line or romance line or heart line. They call it either in any of those ways, the mental line and the lifeline. And then I'm going to show you, besides that, I'm going to show you like some things that can be in the line, like little circles or islands and things like that, what they mean, so that you can sort of tell what that person's line is telling you that can happen or has happened. And then there are 6 markings in the hand that will tell us if a person has had psychic powers or has been a healer in a past life. I'm going to show you 3 of them. So that's going to be really cool to see if any of you have these markings. So first thing I want to tell you is, what is palm reading? And it is the practice of fortune telling. So when I say fortune telling, unmute yourselves and tell me, what do you think of when you hear fortune telling?
I think of being of knowing my future, knowing what the future holds, knowing what to expect.
Mhm. And do you think of a man or a woman usually?
Um, you mean a man doing this type of work or a
Yeah.
man in the future? Well, usually I think of a woman, um,
And what does she
usually
dress like?
like a gypsy,
Right? Isn't
right?
that like the what everybody thinks?
Stereotypical.
Yeah,
Yeah,
stereotypical.
yeah,
So we think about someone wearing something around their head and
yeah,
maybe even wearing little coins, right?
right.
Maybe having a crystal ball in the room, all of
Yep,
that, right?
absolutely. In a
So
tent, in a
in a
tent.
tent, yeah, maybe in a
Yeah.
fair kind of
Oh
thing.
yeah, absolutely. Yep.
Yeah. So, that fortune telling that has that rap, right? But nowadays, modern fortune telling can be just you and me, and there are four ways of calling palm reading: palmistry, chiromancy, and chirology. So if you see those words, they're talking about palm reading. It's nothing spectacular. So if you're going to be a fortune teller that does palmistry, you can be called a palmist, a palm reader, a hand reader, a hand analyst, or a chirologist. And you're practicing chiromancy. So I'm going to tell you about the roots of palmistry. It comes from three different places: from the Hindu astrology, from Chinese Yi Ying, and Roma fortune tellers, which is what we were talking about just a moment ago. So it comes from those three roots. And I'm going to swiftly go through this because it's not so interesting, but it's important that you understand that palmistry was a forbidden art of the seven forbidden arts, which are geomancy, aromancy, necromancy, pyromancy, hydromancy, spatulamancy, and chiromancy. So there were seven forbidden arts that the Pope decided that was, if you did any of those things, you could be, put to death because you were a witch. Um, and it was very suppressed, and people would not do it. But then there was this gentleman called, let me see if I see it here, John Warner. We used to call him Chado. Chado. He came to the United States, and he started to read palms for a lot of celebrities. And that was about the time that Mark Twain wrote his books, and he became like the society palmist. And after that, the Parker brothers created a book, a game, and that started to let people know more about palmistry. There's different styles of palmistry. There's the Chinese palmistry, the Hindu, and there's the Roma tradition. I do the Buddhist palmistry, and the Buddhists read only the non-dominant hand. So it's the hand that you don't write with, the hand that you don't work with the most. So if let's say that you write with one hand, but you do everything else with the other hand, it would be the hand that you use least that you would use for this type of palmistry that I'm going to teach you. The dominant hand is considered to be representing that conscious mind. It is also anything that has already happened. So we're going to focus on what's going to happen. And we're going to focus on past life and karmic conditions that may be influencing the person's life now. So we're going to be using the non-dominant hand. What's beautiful about this type of palmistry is that we're not going to guess how many children a person has, or if the person's going to be married and how many times. We're going to actually read the person's soul contract, and it's right in the palm. So yes, non-dominant hand. And I have had people who say that are ambidextrous and there's no way that they can tell me which hand it is. And I would do both hands in that case, and I would use my intuition to figure out which one is the past and which one is the future or present. But I usually charge more for that because it's longer, because I have to do both hands and I have to use my intuition and I have to ask more questions and it takes longer. So just so you know, non-dominant hand. So if you're right-handed, it's the left hand. So we're going to look at the fingers of your non-dominant hand. So if you're right-handed, you're going to be looking at your left hand. And if you're going to look at your index finger, the finger of direction points the way. Okay, so this one, the pointer, the index finger, if you look at the edge or the tip of the finger, it might be straight or it might be bent towards the middle finger. It might be bent outward. So keep that in mind. Which way is it bending? And it's just the very tip. And then look at the middle finger. That's your harmony and your balance and your destiny. That should be straight. And if it's the tip is moved towards one or towards the other, take a look at that. Keep that in mind. Then look at the little finger. I'm sorry, let's look at the ring finger. That's your relationships and family, but it can also be creativity. So that's not on here, but it can also be creativity. Little finger is eloquence, skill, and childlike wonder. So little finger is, most of the time, it's about children, anything that's got to do with kids, and also with skills, but it could also be, depending on other lines and other things that you notice on the other fingers, it could also be how well they express and they communicate with other people. So if you notice that the fingers are a lot longer than the palm this way, it could indicate a creative person. So longer fingers with smaller palms are more creative, more art and music oriented. And the short fingers with a bigger palm can indicate earthly or earthy. And they're, more nature oriented. They're also usually people who are, that you can trust more, that are more, how do you say this? An earthy type of hand would be someone you can depend on. Okay, whereas the longer fingers are a little bit more fleeting and can be, they're very creative and they arty and music. But also each finger is ruled by a planet, which indicates important aspects of the person's, or the personality of the person's traits. Okay, so now let's take a look at your index and see if the tip of the finger of the index is looking towards the middle finger or if it's looking out. I think I have the slides. Yeah, I do. Look at your fingers. Is there one bent over to another? Which finger is bent means weakness in that area, and it favors where it is bent towards. So let's say that the ring finger is bent towards the middle finger. The ring finger is about family, and the middle finger is about balance, which means that the priority for this client is to harmonize the family or a relationship because they're looking towards the middle finger, and that's your relationship finger. Does that make sense? Okay. Example number 2, when the ring finger is bent towards the little finger, then the person is seeking to be able to have better skills in communication because the little finger is the eloquence, right? It can also mean that they need more childlike wonder. Doesn't usually happen as such because this finger, the ring finger, is also creativity. So if it is straight and the little finger is bending over to the ring finger, it's more likely that this person needs more childlike wonder, needs more creativity. Does that make sense now? Any questions so far? Take a look at your hands. Draw a conclusion of why that is, what that is. I had a worksheet with this activity, but I don't have it today. You can just do it in any paper. Donna, any questions? Julie? Anybody?
Can you pop back to the previous slide with what the fingers mean so I can quickly look at it? Because, okay, cool, thank you. So let me look at them again. Direction, destiny, relationship. Okay, cool.
So what are you looking at?
Well,
what do you see?
My index finger and my middle finger both point to, so like my index finger points to my middle finger, and my middle finger points to my ring finger.
So both of them are pointing toward the ring finger. So that's how you see it. Rather than seeing the index looking at the middle and the middle to the ring, this one is looking this way. So it's looking at really at the ring.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's a really good question. So now you got two fingers looking at the ring finger. So the most important thing for you, it's either family or creativity.
Got you. Perfect. All right, cool.
Mhm.
Thank
Or
you.
relationships, you know? Yeah, you're welcome. So anybody else?
I can't tell.
You don't have any fingers that have that, like the tips move a little bit to, they're all, if they're all straight, they're all straight. Then there's nothing to worry about. Then that means you're balanced.
I think they're all straight.
So I'm going to stop sharing a minute so I can look at your hand. And so you're just going to put your hand like that in front of me, like put it the other way for me. There you go. Okay, let me just pin it so I can see it big. So the edge of the index, does it look like it's looking towards the middle a little bit?
Oh, maybe. When I have it spread open, it does look a little bit more towards.
You do have to have it spread open, by the way. Like when you have a client, you have to ask them to have their like usually we're doing it virtually, right? Or we're doing it in, on the phone messages and WhatsApp. So you have them take a picture like that. And you have them take a picture where you can see from here to the top. And the fingers are straight open like that, no jewelry. And that way you can see the whole hand. So that way is perfect. Now, I don't see anything there. I don't, except that possibly maybe the index a little bit towards the middle. So I wouldn't even mention it to this guy, to you, until I looked at other lines that would confirm what I'm thinking, that you're just looking for a little bit more of harmony in the control, like maybe to not control your environment too much. But I wouldn't know that unless I looked at other lines.
Okay.
So if I don't see another line like that, I wouldn't even mention it because it's probably then not so.
Okay, cool.
Okay, anybody else? Julie? Okay, let me look at you, Julie. Hold on, let me unpin. Hold on, I gotta unpin. And now pin. Okay. Little finger is looking towards the ring. That's it, Julie. Yeah. So the little finger is looking towards having more childlike wonder. So it's looking towards having more creativity. It's looking towards, it also could be looking towards family. So now that you have that information, you kind of keep it in your mind, and then you look at the other lines that we're going to be reading and see if there's anything that is about the same, and then you know that it is. Okay. So it could be for Julie, since the little finger can represent children, but it could also represent eloquence or communication, and that you need more of the ring finger, which is family, relationships, or creativity. Then that means that you're lacking childlike wonder or you're lacking eloquence because you're looking at creativity is needed, or your relationships need to be in a good place before you can have that childlike wonder. So which one it is, we don't know yet until we see the whole hand. But now we have a clue of what to look for. Okay? Does that make sense?
Yes, thank you.
You're welcome. Anybody else?
Me.
Okay. Okay, let me remove pin and look at your pin. So the middle finger moves see that edge of the middle finger, the tip of the middle finger is looking towards the ring finger, and the little finger is looking towards the ring finger. So both the middle finger and the little finger are looking towards the ring finger, which tells me that in many areas of your life, your relationship has to be in a good spot for you to feel good. You know, relationship, family, and creativity are the important things in your life. Okay.
Very accurate. Very accurate. Very true.
Awesome. Does anybody else, am I missing anyone? Andrea, do you want to ask anything?
I figured, oh, sure.
You figured yours? Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
the example one was me textbook.
Awesome. Okay, we're going to continue. Okay. So we're going to talk about 3 major lines. The palms have 5 lines, 5 major lines, but the 3 most major lines that everybody knows about are the heart line, the mental line, and the lifeline. The heart line can also be called the love line, and the mental line can also be called the headline. The heart line is up at the very, very top, and it starts at the edge of the palm underneath the little finger, and it moves sideways across the hand over towards the index, and it could land around here. It doesn't have to go all the way up, and it doesn't have to go straight. It could go up, but it's really the one that begins out here in the hand. The mental line or headline and the lifeline usually begin at a very similar or the same place, and it starts right in between the index and the thumb. The headline goes straight and it's underneath the heart line, and the lifeline goes down. So everybody found their heart line, their headline, and their lifeline? Okay, so if everybody's found it, if you haven't found it, let me know. Okay. So we're going to talk about the heart line first. So it's also called the love line, and it begins under the little finger, which some people also call it the Mercury finger. It moves uppermost on your hand, under all of the fingers. It ends either somewhere below the index or the middle finger, somewhere in between here. It could end here, it could end here, it could end here. So if it ends less than the middle finger, it's called a short line. And if it goes all the way across, and it almost touches the end of the index or goes across, it's a long line. And what it does is it illustrates the degree of sensitivity with which the person approaches the world. It reflects their emotional side of their personality. And it relates to all matters of the heart. So it tells the story of the personal emotional history of the person. So I'm going to show you some things that can be in the middle of the line, some boosts and some things that are not so good, that will give you the story of the person. These are some common lines and shapes in the heart line. When the heart line is lower in the hand, which it's really close to the heart line, this person uses caution about love. If the line is higher in the hand, really close to the finger base, the base of the fingers, this person is open-minded. That person displays their feelings easily, but they can also from line is fantasizes about that. They're looking for perfection, and it's a matter of letting them realize that there is no such thing as perfect love, and that it's kind of I wouldn't say naive. I would say a different word so that not to make them feel bad, but it's kind of naive to think that anybody can reach a perfection that they're looking for. So just kind of remind them in a way that is kind and compassionate that there is no such thing as a perfect love, and that's something that they need to work on. When it's short, I won't tell them they're selfish or narrow minded, but you know now that they could be a little selfish. So if they're having trouble with a relationship, it could be because of their being a little selfish. So as people don't usually think before doing things, they don't think about their consequences. So you can coach them in a way of letting them know that they need to stop and think about what's going to happen in the relationship before they do it. Like, what are they beginning to, what do they want their relationship to be like? And keep that focus in mind rather than putting themselves first. And that way you're not telling them they're selfish, but you're telling them how to work around it, right? If the line is deep, their emotions run deep. Now, chained means little lines that look at the little circles that and I'm going to show you what a chain looks like, but it looks like little circles, like a chain. And if you see that the line has a lot of that, there's inconsistency with the feelings of the person. A person that has a lot of chains in the love line, they're frustrated because it's hard for them to find a love that will stay with them because they're inconsistent. So that their partners realize that they're inconsistent. If the line starts straight and there's nothing in the beginning, which would be under here, if you see it straight and there's nothing in it, that means that they received compassionate love from their mother from birth or from somebody from birth, and they feel like they've got what they, in the beginning of their life, they knew what love was and they felt loved, okay, and they've developed a strong emotional body. But if in this area you see that there's a break or an island, like a it looks like an eye, it looks like an egg, that starts with an island, and this person has abandonment issues. And you would know it by looking at that the person's having abandonment issues, and you can help them by telling them this just, you need to work what you need to work on. If it's,
Marlo,
yeah.
starting from, I think you said, I might have missed it, starting from the pinky?
From underneath the pinky, from the outside of the hand, and it's the top line. Let me show you a slide so you can see it.
Yeah, I found it. I just looking.
The very
under
top
pinky.
line, yeah. So if you look right here, if there's an island or some tassels, something there could be like the beginning of your life, of your love life. You could have had problems in developing your emotions because of the way that you were treated. But if it's straight, there was no problems in the developing your emotions. Okay. Any other questions? No. Okay. If the love line is weak and thin, that could be a weak circulatory system. So what you would do is we would look at other signs. I would look at other signs over here and to see if there's any circulatory system problems. Oh, this is really interesting. A lot of the love lines, they don't end straight. They end with 2 lines or 3 lines. So they're a trident or a bifork. Okay. So it could end with one that goes up and one that goes straight, or with 3 of them. If it ends with 3 with a trident, that person has extreme love and compassion for the world, not just for themselves and their loved ones, but they give their heart to the world. They help, they're here to make a difference for the world. If it's a bifork, their energy of love, their energy and their emotions are split in ways that they can take care of themselves and their relationships, and take care of their relationships and the world, and they do so very positively, very optimistic. So they're people who want to make a difference. So both of them are great. They're both positive. That just tells you that that person is here to make a difference. One of them is more, which is a trident. That person is more concerned about the world than themselves. And the bifork means that they're trying to balance the love that they feel for others and the love they feel for themselves, and they're trying to balance love. Okay. If it ends with a very short bifork, like a really short bifork, they can become quite agitated easily. But I don't even mention that to clients unless I see other signs. And one sign would be a person that has what we call a fire hand. And a fire hand, the palm is shorter than the fingers, and there's a lot of lines on the palm. So and they're not so deep. The lines are not so deep. So if your palm is shorter, I mean bigger than the fingers, and the fingers look a little shorter, and the palm has a lot of lines, and the lines don't look deep, you might be a fire hand. And the fire hand, along with the love line being short and with a bifork ending, and real short bifork, means that you get agitated easily. And the palm reader would know that without you telling them. We would know it from that. And the thing is that you know that you have a problem with agitation, that you get agitated easily. But how does the palm reader know that? It's like this. That's how they know it. And it's important as a palm reader to see these things and tell them to your client, so the client recognizes that you are for real, that you know what you're talking about. Because it's one thing to tell a client that they have 3 guardian angels and that there's something going to happen in their life. But how do they believe you unless they know some things about themselves that you can tell them first, so that they can trust that you know what you're doing, and that you're a professional. You get me? You understand? So, you go to somebody and they start telling you all these things, you want to know that you can trust that person. So how you're going to trust them is they're going to tell you things about you that you already know. And then that's going to make you feel like, okay, these people, they know what they're saying. When the love line touches that headline below, not that there's a line that touches both of them, but that the headline arches down or the mental line arches up and they touch. Okay, that's not very common, but it can happen. That means a person is reluctant to showing feelings. And if it touches the lifeline, which is the one that goes all the way down, that means they're yearning reconnection to parents, or to have a strong bond with their parents. They're yearning to rekindle a relationship with their parents. If the lifeline bends down over the Mount of Mars is underneath. Okay, it bends down under the Mount of Mars. It's underneath here. So it would bend down here towards the middle finger down here. So if it goes down, they need a lot of emotional support. It shows tension, deep worry, or insecurities about love. Okay, so does anybody have any of these things that you want to kind of mention it, or want to talk about it, or do you want to ask any questions about it? Okay, so now I'm going to show you some common marks that can happen both in the love line, headline, well, all 3, and even in the lifeline. And it's important you see any of these, like this. Remember, I talked to you about the chain? That's nervous energy. Okay, remember, if you see a fork, that's divided energy. If you see a spot, tension or stress. This is called a tassel. When you see like hairs, coming out of the line, the tassel, that's scattered energy also. We call a bunch of little X's also a chain. If you see a break, that change, there's a change or an uncertainty or a transformation, a shift. If you see something like that, if the line, you see the line starting, but then it stops and then it starts over, but there's a space. That happens often in a lot of the lines, especially in the headline. That's change or uncertainty. If you see a cross, meaning it could look like an X, okay, or a cross, an X, that's an obstacle. But if you see a square, that's protection. Now this we call a grill, which is more than one square put together. It looks like a little grill. That's uncertainty. And if you see on the actual line is a triangle, that's a boost of energy. So that's something good. When you see a triangle, it's good. When you see a square, it's good. All the others, you want to look at what's happening. A star is a shock to the system. It's something, is a big event happening. This is what I call an island. It looks like an oval. And that's uncertainty also. It's divided energy. And if it happens in the beginning of the love line, I mentioned to you that if this happens in the beginning of the love line, the person didn't have enough love when they were children. When you see drooping lines or rising lines, it can mean many different things, depending on which line it is. Usually upward is good, and going down can mean something that's not favorable to the person. Now I want you to notice this one here that has a dark line and then it has like a light line on top. We call that a shadow. It's not on here, but we call that a shadow. And if you see a line like that on the lifeline, next to the lifeline, I'll go over it again when we get to the lifeline, it means that a person is living a double life, or they're trying to look like something that they're not. So they have a way of being, and they have a way of being in front of others. So they want others to perceive them in a different way. Okay. So I went over these. I know it was in a hurry, and we're going to come back to the slide to look at the other lines as well. But I want to go over what's over here on this side, because this is something I always go through with every client. And it's that I look at where the head and lifeline start in between the index and the thumb. And I see if it starts together, if there is a little space, or if there's a big gap. So I want you to look at your hand and look at the line of the lifeline and the line of the headline, and look right at the beginning of it and see if you see a space there or not. And if there is a space, is it a big space or is it a very little space? If you don't have a space at all, it means that when you were growing up, you were obedient. It indicates a balanced nature. But you could also be lacking confidence, not necessarily, but you're more of a follower. Okay, or a person that has a little bit of a gap indicates a person is enterprising and is learning, or it has become independent. And even in childhood, they were independent, but could have been over imaginative. And they have a tendency to get easily distracted and maybe waste time on trivial matters unless they're given absolute goals. Whereas if there's a big gap, that person is a free thinker. Oftentimes they leave home early to start their independent life too early, and they make their own way in life. Okay, this is a person that's easily excitable, but they're free thinkers. So take a look at your hands, and if you want to say it out loud, if you are with the line beginning together, if there is a short gap or if there's a big gap, you can say it if you want to. Anybody?
I think mine are together.
If they start together, you would know because they're just, there's no gap at all.
Because I was looking at the top line, but it's not. It's the second line down, right? And the one to the right.
Yes.
Okay.
The headline is the second one down, and the lifeline is the third one that goes down.
Yeah, mine look together.
So you were a obedient child, and you've had a pretty, you're pretty balanced as a child.
Okay. Cool.
Anybody else? Anybody have something different? Okay. We'll continue.
Sorry. We're supposed to be
Sure.
looking at our non-dominant hand, right?
Correct. The non-dominant.
Because they're different.
Yeah, don't look at that non-dominant. Like, don't even worry about the non-dominant. Just look at the non-dominant.
Oh, I was looking at the wrong hand. Whoops. Said that. Okay.
No worries. Is it the same or different?
It's pretty much the same.
Okay.
Mine says, I think that they're little, like a chain. Looks like, has little, it looks like little crisscrosses, like a chain, I think.
Are they together with the headline and the lifeline are together?
Interesting.
Like,
No.
No.
I don't think so.
So
I'm a little confused.
Are you able to see this picture down here in the bottom? Can you see it? See how the headline is this one here, the second line.
Uh-huh.
And this one's the lifeline. And they're touching here. They have some crisscrosses, but they're together. Right? They're joined.
Oh,
Like this.
well, yeah. The head and the
Life.
life. They are joined at the beginning, but then no.
Right. That just the beginning. That's all you're
At the
looking
beginning.
at.
Yeah, at the beginning, yeah. There's a little moment that they're joined. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's good. Okay. So that's pretty normal.
Okay.
You know, it's pretty normal. See, it's right here too, on this side. So I wanted to show you in the mental line something interesting. The mental line, it lets you know if the person is very logical or if the person is more hearty, like more heart, more like an artist. Okay. And what we've seen is that if it is straight, it is a more logical person, what we would call an engineer. And if it goes down a little bit, it's more artistic and more artistic person. Now, if it goes down a lot and it's short, like this one here, the red one here, this person could easily be a person that is going through depression. You see this picture here of the skeleton? It has to do with a cervical problem in the back of their head, their neck, and it shows up in the mental line. And so this person could have depression. So it is a depression caused by the cervical spine. So what you can tell a person that has depression is to go seek chiropractic help or an orthopedic doctor and take a look at their cervical x-rays and see if they can help them so that they can help them with the depression. Because yeah, they can get medicine and they can use mindfulness and things like that. But this is a physical condition. So this one here has a headline that has the forks. See the fork? It has like a little line over here and a little line over here. But this line has little like spaces in between, but it's still a line. It just means that there's scattered energy here. And it shows that this person has a diversity of hobbies or like a diversity in character, that they like different things. They have different interests. So that's very common too. Okay. All right. So the mental line originates beneath the index finger. So right around between the index and the thumb. And it usually goes straight across or gently goes down. And it lets us know if there's mental health issues or if there's strength of will or mental fortitude. So good things that you want to look at is that on the line, there might be squares, or the line might be rising, or it may have triangles. Any other little things that we showed you, like that I showed you, remember that line, the stuff, the tassels and the chains, the brakes, any of that, the X's, the grills, any of that could mean something on the mental line that's the person is having trouble with. But if they have a boost, which is the triangle or a square, or yeah, those two are the most common, the triangle and the square. That means that the person is amazingly smart. Like this person is an intellectual, and they're having, they're logical, they're intellectual, they're especially if the line is long. The break in the mental line, believe it or not, it doesn't mean that there's any problem with their health, their mental health. It just means that there's uncertainty in something that a project that they're trying to do. So they may have more than one project that they're looking at, and that there's going to be change happening. If you see a chain in the mental line, that means that they're nervous people. There's nervous energy there. They get worried about things too easily. They put too much effort into projects, into thinking about things, and they worry about it. These people can also suffer from anxiety if left alone. If you see dots, those are points of stress. And so you see a line that's straight, and then you see a dot, and then it goes straight, and you see another dot. That means there's events in their life where they're going to have major stress. But more major than that is if you see a star. If you see a star, that's an event where the person's going to have major stress. It could be, an injury. It could be something big. Any questions so far on the mental line? Okay. So, okay, a chain, like several islands. Someone who has a sensitive mentality. They may be undergoing personal, intellectual, or mental issues. How do we know personal, intellectual, or mental? Well, we're going to kind of guess by seeing the way that anything else is there. Let's say that we see a star. We know that's an event that's going to happen that's really going to interrupt them. So that's going to really like mess with them. So that's gonna be mental, that's gonna be emotional. If you see that it's a X, then there's just some kind of scattered energy about things. Maybe they're just worried, maybe they're like uncertain about which way to go. They need to have some clear understanding of what to do next. Okay, so that's how you know. It depends on the things that are on the line. A chain will tell you that the person is unstable in their environment. they have a restless mind. They could even have anxiety. Their memory could be weak. This person can be unmotivated towards career goals, uncertain about their future. They might be suffering some kind of learning difficulty. They might being able to think straight, or even tend towards laziness. It can also suggest that an individual who's experiencing depression. The changed line can change over time as circumstances shift and begin to even out. This is important that you know, because the palm line changes every 7 years. Lines deepen, they thin out, they become blurred, they shorten, so every 7 years, the palm looks a little different. There's something else new or something that has gone away. And it all depends on how you are developing and what choices you make in life, and that changes your palm line. Look at this line over here. This is the lifeline of the person, the one that's going down, and it has a bunch of chains. And this is the mental line of the person that's deep, has some chains here. It has an X on top. It has another line that comes through into the mental line. And this is the love line of this person that ends in a trifork. So right here, this person, you know that the love line ends with a trifork. You know that that person is someone that cares about the world. You see this line here, the mental line with a bunch of little chains, but it's long and it looks straight and it has a bifork. So this person has a really good intellect, but has some insecurities. They're undergoing some kind of issue. Okay. And there's space between the mental line and the lifeline, which tells you that this person early on in life decided they wanted to be independent and do things their own way. So these are people who are very strong-willed because they want things their way. And you see that the lifeline has the X's and chains. So they're insecure about things that are happening in their life. So does that make sense to everybody? Okay. Here are more things that could happen in the mental line. Bars are short lines. They're little lines that cut through, but they don't touch other lines. That represents a headache. They represent an obstacle. It represents a worry. If that bar is red and thick, it means that person is going currently through a migraine, a fever, or a brain disorder. If the bar forms a bridge to the headline, so the line goes from the headline to the love line, and a lot of people have that. That means that there's balance between making decisions with both the heart and with the head. Like I have that, and it just means I can make a decision using my heart or using my head. Okay. If you see a cross on the mental line, that's a setback, a mental block, or self-deception. So I usually go with self-deception. I usually go with, okay, what is it that you're deceiving yourself from? What is it that you are blocking yourself from? And have them think about it and journal it and talk about it until they can, because they're making themselves a setback. If you see a cross in the mental line, they're doing that to themselves. Okay. If they see a dot, that's a sudden shock or mental tension. And it could be any color, red, gray, or black. If the mental line dips down, and this is the lifeline, and if the mental line dips down and it kind of becomes parallel, that's depression. That was like the one that I showed you earlier. Show you. Is it? Nope. Wait. Here. So here's the lifeline of this person. And here is the mental line. And it kind of is parallel and is going down. See? So that could mean depression. It does mean depression. Now, the square and the triangle are the best things that you can see in a mental line. Square represents overcoming mental stress or protection from any injury to the head. And the triangle is attached to a line that's attached to a line strengthens that part of the line where it appears. It gives a boost to the current time. It means an achievement of a goal, a problem resolved, or even a windfall, a sudden, unexpected good fortune, or new beneficial events. So triangles are something that I love to see in lines because it means that I can give them good news, that there's something good going to happen for them. And that could be that they're going to finish a goal or that the problem is going to be resolved. So it's great to see that especially in the mental line. Does anybody want to talk about their mental line? Or do you have any questions about it? And you can also reach out to me after class if you don't want to say it during recording, okay? Reach out to me, show me a picture, I'll tell you, okay?
What happens if the mental line ends in a fork?
It means that there's divided ideas and you have, you're a person that have divided interests. You have a lot of different interests. So creative, divided interests, many hobbies, many things you like, that kind of thing.
Cool. Thank you.
You're welcome. Any questions about the headline so far? Okay, I'm gonna go with the lifeline then. And the lifeline is the one that goes down towards the bottom of the hand. And it can be short and it can be long. And it has nothing to do with whether the person has a long life or a short life. It has nothing to do with how long the life of the person will be. It just is the stamina and the vitality, the energy of the person, and important life changes. That's what the lifeline is about. And it does arc around the ball of the thumb. Okay. A perfect lifeline will have no breaks. It will have no markings. And it would mean that they will have a steady life with nothing terrible happening to the person or nothing, like it's just smooth riding for them. And then there's nothing on that line. Now, if you have any of the markings that we talked about earlier, you've got to put that into consideration with the life. So that means that things are happening in their life. It means there are events happening for them, or that there's boosts and good things happening to them if it's a triangle or a square. If you see another line right underneath it that looks like a shadow, or right behind it, if it's underneath, it means that they have more than one career move that they may want to do. If it's behind it, am I doing it wrong? I'm saying it wrong. I'm sorry. Scratch that. If the line is right underneath it, like in the inside or closer to the thumb, it means the person is leading a double life. They're trying for people to perceive them as something they're not, or that they are, but they're trying to make something more out of it. So a lot of times it's because they want to appear one way for the career, and at home there's something else. Not necessarily that they're leading a double life, but they're, in a way they are, because they're not really being true to themselves. Okay, they're not being authentic to the world. If the shadow is in the back of the line, it means that they have more than one career that they can do, and they're capable of doing more than one career. Does that make sense? Okay. So same thing, same common lines. You know, the chain is nervousness, the grid is stress. If you see crossbars, they're setbacks, an island is stress and divided energy. So it's the same thing. If you see a star, there's an accident or shock. A cross is a period of hardship. But a square is overcoming a threat to life. And a triangle can be in the lifeline, can be diplomacy or inheritance or something good happening for them in that time period. The lifeline marks, okay, so different marks in the lifeline just interrupt the flow of life. They just interrupt the smoothness of how the life can go. So it can be at any age, and it can interrupt a career, it can interrupt hobbies, it can interrupt friends, family, and just a general outlook in life. So any of these markings can make a change in the person's life. Okay, so look at your palm and let's draw conclusions about your heart line, your mental line, and your lifeline. So you're going to look at how long and deep each line is. If you see a bifork or a trifork, are there any common lines or shapes on the lines, like little markings on the lines? Do you see any markings? Do the mental and lifeline unite at the beginning, or is there space? Is there a line connecting the mental and heart line? So that means that there should be a line connecting them like a bar. Here's the heart line up here, and here's the mental line, the second line. If there's a bar connecting one and the other, you want to note that too. You want to interpret that. And you can look, if you want, we can do rooms right now for like 5 minutes, 3 minutes. We'll do 3 minutes. And you can show each other the hands. Actually, let's do 6 minutes, 3 minutes each. You show each other the hand, your hand, and you can draw conclusions about these things. Do you want to do that? How do you feel about it? Yeah, Andrea? If anybody doesn't want to, just tell me. I won't bring you.
I don't have ability for anyone to look at my hand, but everyone else can break off in the rooms. Just don't pair me with somebody who wants to do it.
Okay, so you can stay with me. You can stay with me. All right, let's do that. Okay. That way you can talk about your lines and you can ask me questions when you come back. Oh, okay, I have to stop sharing. Hi, Lisette, are you falling asleep?
I was on mute. Sorry. No, I wasn't falling asleep. I was looking at my hand trying to figure out my lines, looking at them. So I have some confusing lines.
Because I've got Andrea and Julie, and I've got Lisette and Donna. And I'm opening the rooms.
Okay.
I'm putting a pause to the recording. Noelle, since you are here with me.
Yes. I'm looking at
We weren't done.
Okay, we are back from the breakout rooms. And did I get you in the middle of something, or did you have enough time to talk to each other?
Well,
No.
Donna got a chance to look at mine a little more, and I was looking at hers and analyzing her line, but then we got cut off.
Okay,
That's
so
okay.
it's Donna's turn then.
No,
Donna,
actually, it's my turn. I was looking at Donna's hand.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Donna got to see mine. What I noticed about Donna's hand is her lines are very faint. Like they're not very deep. They're not very deep lines. They're kind of faint. And she has a very strong, like a very long heart line, where it goes all the way from the index finger all the way to the pinky and beyond. So she's got a long heart line.
So the heart line begins under the pinky.
And it goes, that's right. And it goes to the index.
Ends, right? Yeah, and it ends at the index. And so she has a line, she has a bifork in the heart line because it goes up towards the middle finger. You see that? So she has a bifork at the end of the heart line. And that's a
Yeah.
really nice long bifork that goes to the middle finger, which means the middle finger is the balance finger. It balances the middle finger balances the hand. So that's harmony. And that means that she has harmony within her emotions. So it's really cool to see that. And
Cool.
because it's so long, she has the tendency of wanting perfection in her relationships. But she has a lot of love because, and she's scattered love. So she's love for many different things.
Mm.
I see other things here that I haven't taught you girls, but there's a lot of spirituality in your hand. The upper part right above the heart line, ladies, is the spirituality area. And she has a bunch of lines, if you can see them, underneath the middle finger and then underneath the ring finger. She has a lot of different lines there. That's all spirituality, and those are our spirit guides. So that's really, really cool to see that she's got all this help and support.
Yay. I didn't know that. Thank you.
You're welcome. So let's look at the mental line and the lifeline. They're touching right in the middle between the index and the thumb. And there's a lot of little crosses there, which mean that there's insecurity, but then they're together. So there's also obedience and but there is insecurity.
Mm.
And you see how the mental line goes almost to the end of the line of the hand, and it ends with a bifork, but there's also a line that goes down. So you could even say it's a trifork. So there's a lot of intellect here, a lot of intelligence and logic. There's also a triangle right underneath, which I'm going to go about telling you about that in a minute. And the lifeline looks pretty smooth. The lifeline looks pretty smooth. There's another line behind it, but that's nothing to do with the shadow that I was telling you about, because it would be a lot thinner and it would be closer. That's a different line altogether.
Cool. You can
Yeah.
see.
Yeah. Take a look at this hand. Oh my God. You're going to see something in a minute when I go to the next slides that you have in that hand. That's pretty cool.
Awesome.
I'm not
Thank
going to tell you yet because you want to look at it.
you.
Julie and Andrea, do you have any questions? Did you do well? Were you able to read each other?
We kind of peeked at each other's, and neither of us took the notes as to what they specifically were. That we were both looking at the thing, so it was hard to like remember what was said. But it's interesting how they look so different, because we both put them up and stuff, and they look different. But she said she has chains like on the top one. And I said, well, does that like resonate with anything in your life? And she said it kind of did. And on mine, I didn't see any. I think you said that means like you either had a good, like you felt loved from your mother right away, or you felt abandonment or whatever. And mine being really straight and strong was very resonated with me, because I was an only child. I was very loved, and I knew I never had any feeling of not being loved. So that was very like true, like spot on with that. But I couldn't remember a lot of the other nuances of what stuff meant. So
Awesome. So you enjoyed it?
it makes me want to go like delve further in, definitely. So very interesting.
Andrea, how about you? You did well?
Yes. Yeah, we talked about it and then we went into another tangent of other things, but it was a good time.
Awesome. Okay, I'm ready to share my screen again. Am I recording? Yes, I am. Okay. Here we go. Okay. So I'm going to show you 3 interesting markings. I want you to look underneath the little finger and see if you have a few vertical lines underneath it. 4 or more parallel lines under the little finger. is an indicator that this person is a powerful healer. It means that this person was a healer in another life. Okay, which means that this person has the ability to touch the hearts of people and find ways to heal their scars, both emotional and physical. The more lines that you see underneath the middle finger, the little finger, straight lines together like this, the more gifts of healing this person has, the more lives that they've lived as healers, the more gifts they have. So what I tell people that have the lines, this is called the healer's mark, is that they can choose to fulfill their life, whether to make a career out of it or a hobby out of it, but to fulfill their lives with something to do, some career that pertains to healing. And it can be spiritual healing, it can be emotional healing, it can be physical healing. It can be Eastern or Western philosophies. So give me some ideas of what Western philosophy of healing, what kind of careers a person that could do.
Chiropractor,
Mm-hmm.
nurse,
Mm-hmm.
doctor,
Mm-hmm.
like a respiratory technician or
Yeah.
anything like that, a pharmacist.
Yeah. And it can even be a fireman or emergency, or it can even be a biller, a medical biller or a medical assistant. Doesn't have to be like a huge career. It could be something even lower, but it fills you up because you're working with healing. What about in the Eastern, somebody else, in the Eastern philosophy of healing? What do you think?
Well, you have Oriental medicine, acupuncture, Ayurveda,
Yes. Good.
herbology, maybe.
Yeah. Nutrition, holistic nutrition. All right. And there's also the psychology part, the mental part, right? And the life coaching, health coaching, spiritual life coaching, all that. Any of those things can fulfill a person that has these lines. Do you want to tell me if you have it? Anybody?
I have tons.
Yeah,
Oh,
I have them too.
so you guys are healers.
Yeah.
You're healers.
Yeah.
Andrea too?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it makes sense that if you're in the red tent, you probably have it. Because you're likely a spiritual healer. Okay, this is the next one. It's called the mystic triangle. With the mystic triangle can be pointing up or can be pointing down. So the one that I'm showing you here is pointing down. Pointing up would be, can you see my mouse? It would be pointing like this. It would be like this, going like this. Okay, so when I look at the one that goes up like that, and it has a line across, it looks like an A, but it has an underline underneath it. So it's an A with an underline or an A with a box underneath. So can you follow my mouse? It would have the line right here underneath. So it's an A that's closed with a box underneath. You can see the A upside down over here with the line over here. You see that? So I like to tell people that have the A that they're an ace. They will remember looking at the A in their hand that they're an ace. So what's an ace? That they're number one at something, that they're just really good at something. They're a master of some particular skill. But when it's pointing down, because this area over here is the intuition area of the hand, it means that this person has really good intuition, and they can be anything that's within the magical, spiritual, or healing field. So it's more esoteric. It's a person that has gifts of intuition, likely a psychic in a different life, in a past life. And if they were in a past life psychics, they are in this one. They just need to remember, and they need to relearn that they, and just know that they are. And once they know that they are, oftentimes when a person has this line, this mark, and they come to you as a reader, it's because now they're ready to hear that they are psychics, and they weren't before. And they've come to you now, and they hear that they're psychics, or they have been psychics in a past life, and now they know, and they're ready to move forward with this newfound information for themselves, and they're ready to give that gift to the world and to themselves. So it's not a coincidence when they come to you and they have this kind of line. Does that make sense? Does anybody have a mystic triangle? Oh, Connie's coming in. Let me let her in. Hi, Connie. Does anybody have it? Can you see it?
I have a triangle, but I don't see the two. But I do
You
have
the triangle with a square underneath. Or it could be here this way, like a triangle like this, and it would have a square underneath. That's the mystic triangle.
If I have one of the lines is very, very, very faint, so I don't know if that counts.
Let me see it. I'm stopping the share.
Where am I at?
Hold on, let me pin it. Hold on. Okay. Oh, because I've got Donna pinned. Hold on. There we go. Oh. Okay. No, you don't have the box underneath.
I didn't think I did, but it's like I have a teeny tiny. Okay, good.
No. Donna, let me see yours, because I think you do. Hold on. See. Okay, bring it up. Up.
Oh, I what it is. Okay.
There we go.
Yeah,
I do have
you do. You have it. You have the mystic triangle. I mean,
cool.
you have a line, a diagonal line going through it, which means that you will likely not believe it. However, it creates another mystic triangle within it, which means that you have more than one gift.
Oh, what does that mean?
Oh, you will know soon enough when you start opening up your third eye, girl.
Man,
It's awesome.
that is awesome. Thank you.
You're welcome.
And go, woohoo! Oh my God, who would have thought?
Double triangles, double mystic triangles. That means that you've had more than one life as a psychic. So becoming a psychic is not going to be hard for you. You just have to open your third eye, and it's going to be like, okay, like everything's just going to easily come in.
Thank you, Malu. I love you.
You're welcome. You're welcome. Andrea, you have your hand up?
Yes, I think, but
it's hard to see. I see the M, which I'll show you next, but it's hard to see the triangle. It's not clear. Can you bring it back just a little bit? Not so close. No, I can't see it.
okay.
Can anybody see it?
No, I only see you.
Right, it's hard. Take a picture of it, Andrea. I'll tell you about it. Take a picture of it.
Okay.
Send it to me in my phone.
Okay.
But I did see an M, which is the next one that I want to show you, ladies. Let me share my screen. Okay, this is what the M is like. The M means that you're a master at something, that you do not like to be manipulated and can tell when someone is trying to manipulate you or lie to you. And you have the ability to develop your intuition stronger than others. The way the M, that you can tell if you have an M, is the lifeline is one line, and it curves around the base of the thumb, stretches almost towards the wrist down. Check if the headline begins in the same location before reaching across the center of the palm. And then you'll find the heart line over here. And then there's a line that goes from the headline to the heart line, which we call the career line, but we're not going to go into it. But you'll see it. You'll see that it looks like an M. So all three lines are connected by another line. So there's no space though. If there's space here, or there's space here, or there's space here, it's not an M. If you do spot a connection between the heart and mental line, it denotes that you've been blessed with a particular talent or find yourself destined for greatness, regardless of what plans you may have for yourself. So an M means master. It means that you're here to lead about something. And of course, we would look at other things in the hand that would let us know what kind of master you are and things like that. But just knowing that you're a master at something is huge. I saw it in Andreas. Was it full? Or were there any spots? It was full? Okay. And Donna, do you have it? You have it too. You have it too. Yeah. Hi, Connie. Welcome, Connie.
Hi.
What, Donna?
I was gonna say the one that connects is very light, but I can see an M in there. So I'm a master. Cool.
Yes. So fun.
Right.
So fun to see. Okay, I wanted to tell you that I have a palm reading course coming up, and it begins in February. And it's not going to be every Sunday, it's going to be alternating Sundays, because we did it last time every Sunday and it kind of got, really stressful for some of the ladies. So we're alternating Sundays. And in April, we're going to have the first week of April a class, and then we're going to take 2 weeks off to finish any assignments, and also because Easter's in the middle, and then we'll graduate April 24th. So what I'm doing is, if anybody is going to sign up for Red 10 Goddess Academy now, you will be receiving the palm reading for free. If you don't want to be in the Red 10 Goddess Academy, but you want to get it done, if you want to pay it in full, you will save $100 today. Or you can do the payment plan. That's $111 before February 6th. To register, and then $222 in February, $222 in March, and $222 in April, so that you can get it done. And current students of the Academy, you don't have to pay. There are 2 people in this class that already took it, but Lisette didn't finish it. She's going to retake it. I'm not going to charge Lisette because she took the classes, she paid for it, but she didn't graduate because she didn't finish all the assignments. So she's going to retake it. It's not going to cost her anything. And Connie, also, if you want to take it again, you can do it again.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
You're welcome. Do you have anything to say about the class?
It is awesome. It is so, so awesome. And Marlu is such a great teacher. I mean, she just has everything put together for you. You can talk to her. You can ask her any questions. I mean, you learn so much with her classes. I am so glad I have been taking them. Thank you, Marlu.
Thank you, Connie.
Yep. And to piggyback on Connie, the class is amazing. You learn a lot. I unfortunately wasn't able to finish, but it was just due to my crazy schedule. But I am so looking forward to finishing and graduating and being a palm reader, because it is amazing. She's Marlu. She's an excellent teacher, and she's very passionate, and she has years of experience, which is awesome. I mean, from, she was 11 years old. I can't even imagine. So like years and years and years of knowing the material. So incredible. You'll never find somebody that's going to teach it the way she will. That's for sure. For sure.
Thank you. Thank you. Connie, have you tried, did you start palm reading people or clients already?
I'm doing that this weekend.
You are?
Yes.
All right. You know that you can count on me.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome. Okay, so the Enchantress Program, I told you about it. It is an introduction to spirituality. So if you know anybody that is beginning in their spiritual formation, they don't know where to go or where to start, send them to the Enchantress Program. But it's not just for introduction to spirituality, because I have Melanie Hatchie, who's been a spiritual and a witch for 20 years. And I have Lisette, and I have some really amazing and powerful women in my class, and they love the Enchantress Program because there's so much information. It gives you management tools to manage your life, personal development, and we work on becoming a light worker. If you're not already, you will become a light worker in that class. It is this Enchantress Program right now is 2 classes a month and then 1 sharing circle, but we're gonna change it to 3 classes a month. So it'll be 2 classes the same, but instead of a sharing circle, sometimes it'll be a sharing circle, but sometimes it'll be mandatory because I'm bringing in the same material, but splitting it up in a little bit, elongating it a little bit so that it won't be so hard. Sometimes I put 2 things in one class, and it is a lot. You know, sometimes I've had them stay with me for 3 hours, and I don't want to do that to the next class. So I'm putting in an extra hour in a different day, in a different day. But I think that'll work better. So we learn, right, from one class how to do it a little better for them. Some things that you can learn in class is you learn divination tools, how to create your own spiritual lifestyle, however you want to create it. You will learn Ayurveda, you will learn numerology, you will learn the introduction of astrology. The process of enlightenment has 6 steps, has 6 phases. And so you will know which process of enlightenment you're in, and if anybody else in your family is in a process of enlightenment, and how to help them. And how to include self-love in that process, because a lot of self-love is necessary when you're going through some parts of it. We talk about psychic development. We work on psychic development. We work on intuition. We work on, are you a star seed? If you are, what kind of star seed? Are you a light worker? Or what kind of light worker? We do talk about chakras. We talk about the different dimensions. Now there's a lot of talk about going into the 5th dimension. Will I clear that up for you? Angelic connections, past life regressions, Akashic records, meditation. So it's a lot of stuff. And if you're not a Reiki certified healer, you will be afterwards, because we do give a Reiki level 1 certification, and we include bonuses with that. So you don't just become a Reiki level 1 certified person, but you also healer. Well, you also get some really cool Reiki bonuses to learn. And if you're interested in becoming an enchantress or a priestess, and Lisette can talk to you about the priestess program, you can get the palm reading class for free. You want to talk, Lisette? You want to tell them about the priestess program?
Sure. So the priestess program is a program that is really designed for when you feel a calling to go to the next level and connect specifically to the divine feminine, to deities, to goddesses. We go through, you learn basically about different pantheons, where you learn about different goddesses. I teach you also some divination as well, how to do rituals and connection to different goddesses. And not only that, but how to do priestess practices in case you want to become a community priestess, where you can really, like really be able to do things like croning ceremonies and hand fastings and different rituals that you can do for your community, for people that come to you. There's some healing involved as well, and it's basically just how to really connect to that divine feminine nature in you, and how to connect to goddesses that will support you in your journey. And you don't have to become a priestess of a particular goddess. You could become a priestess of goddess in general, and just be able to work with any goddess, or god as well, because we do have some girls in the group that identify very strongly with God, and you know, with a particular god. And we show, and I explain to you the difference and how to balance the divine feminine and the divine masculine. So it's a very in-depth 1-year program, and you know, it's, what can I tell you? It's designed from scratch. We designed it so that it will have as much information as it can possibly have. And it's also two days out of the month, same as the Enchantress, 2.5 hours each class. And we had a sharing circle that we also do, and I'll be probably changing that as well. Just like the Enchantress, it'll probably be an extra class, where sometimes it'll be a sharing circle and sometimes it'll be a class with more in-depth information, just so that, for the same reason, so that there's more space, so we can do journeys and meditations and things like that. And that way, the girls in the program, it won't feel like it's cramped, like there's enough space that they can ask questions and do and share and things like that. And I also show you how to do your own moon circles, like if you want to do your own lunar circles, and you know, similar to the red 10, how we do a full moon and a new moon. So we teach you that as well. So it's a little bit of everything to aid you in your journey. So that's about it.
Thank you, Lisette.
You're welcome.
So, okay, so these are the resources, and that's okay. So I'm going to show you the next events. I'm going to tell you about the next events. Actually, I don't have to show you, I just tell you, right? I'm going to go into the page. So the next event is 3 events. Let's see. If my computer moves. I was hoping that Jocelyn would be here to do that. Yes, they can see you, Ellie. You want to say hello? No. I don't know why I can't see them. Oh, here we go. Okay, so we have, okay, Bridget's Day Festival on Tuesday, February 1st. It's the new moon celebration of Imbolc and the Chinese New Year, and we're going to be doing a free event of Bridget's Day. Bridget is a goddess of a Celtic goddess, and Lisette's going to be leading that. There's then on February 6th, we begin the palm reading certification class. On Tuesday, February the 8th, there's going to be a free goddess connection circle, and that's going to be presented by Lisette, and she's going to be talking about the Roman goddess of love, beauty, and passion, Venus. Then there's going to be a weaving sharing circle on Tuesday, February 15th, for those of you who like to use any kind of, actually she's opened it up to it being any kind of creative work, and that's at 5 o'clock, from 5 to 6:30 on Tuesday, February 15th. And then that same night is the full moon lodge circle at 7 p.m. And then the next masterclass is a yin yoga masterclass and sound healing on Saturday, July 24th from 4 to 6 by Sister Rose Banks. So that's what we got.
You said February 24th?
Let me go back and see.
Because doesn't Trish have a masterclass on the same day that I have the connection circle to Venus? I believe she has a self-love masterclass.
I think
Trish.
so. It's not on here though. Saturday, oh no, wait, this is July 24th. I don't know why this is on July 24th. Okay. Well, the last one in February that I have here is February 15th, the full moon. at 7, and February 15th at 5 is the Weaving Sharing Circle.
Okay.
February 8th is the Goddess Connection Circle that you do.
Yeah, and I believe Trish's masterclass is right after, because I had chosen that day because she's doing a masterclass for self-love.
That's right. I remember that. Well,
Yeah,
it's not
and
up
so-
yet. It's not up yet.
Okay.
Yes, you're
Okay.
right. That would be Tuesday, February 8th, and Trish is
8th.
going to be doing that. Yep.
Mhm.
She's going to be by the way, Trish is going to be, it's very interesting because the way that she has, developed her own self-love. She's been a dominatrix to heal her sexual trauma. She's, done so many things to bring in self-love for herself. So it's going to be interesting. Okay. Well, with that said, any questions about today's class? Please send me a picture of your hand. Ask me your question. I will send you an answer within the next 24 hours. I'll be happy to do that for you. And I see your message, Julie. If it's something that you're interested in, talk to Jaslyn or Claudia and see if there's anything they can do for you, because we don't leave anybody out that wants to do the class. Okay. And Red 10 Kids right now is, I have been working on teaching the little ones from 7 to 12-year-olds spirituality. I'm wanting to connect them more to angels and have them learn more, be more conscious, right? And prepare them for adulthood in a conscientious way. And that's where Red 10 Kids came about. But we don't have anybody signed up yet. We have a waiting list. We don't have, in other words, we're not starting it yet. We're going to probably start it in the summer. What we are going to do is introductory classes, and it gives the parents an idea of what the kids are going to be learning. There's etiquette classes, there's communication with the spiritual realm classes, there's personal development classes, there's manifesting classes, there's all kinds of things for the children, and it's all scheduled. So if you know anybody that's a parent that would want their children to, be more centered and learn spirituality with other children that are like-minded, please send them over. We're keeping a waiting list. Okay. Thank you, my loves, for coming here. It is 8:57 p.m. If there are any questions, I'll be happy to answer. Donna, thank you. Bye, Julie.
Thank you. It was fabulous.
You're welcome, Noelle. Thank you for coming.
Thank you.
Thank you, Lisa.
Learned
Bye, Donna.
Bye.